All right, in this video, we are going to talk about the difference between git pull and git fetch. This is probably the most confusing thing I will teach you before I teach you how to do it like a pro. Again, it's important to know what is happening under the hood a little bit so you have more resilience when everything goes wrong. And that's what we want when we are on a rush, in a bind, with a deadline, or just getting paid fat bags to do this. That apparently nobody else can do because it's impossible. It's really not. So let's jump into it. The difference between git pull and git fetch really is that git pull is git fetch and then git merge. So when you do update to a remote branch, and let's just say that you have your remote branch here and your local branch here, what's going to happen when you do a pull is that it's going to fetch the difference in the objects and merge them directly into your working directory. So your working directory will change with a pull. If you just do git fetch, git will basically be ready whenever you want to merge to do any merging if that's what you want. Git fetch will also pull tags and any other things that may have changed in the origin or the remote branch, but it will wait and not do any local changes to your working tree. I have already made a push to the repository that we have been working with, and let's stick to the evidence. Let's look at it. So we've got our repository right here. This is the remote update I did with my other Git account. So if we go to the commits, we'll see that the latest change is basically that the app.tsx has line 10 changed from what's in the red to what's in the green. Let's take a look at our working directory. It looks like we don't have that change. Let me clean this up from the previous video. Git status. Okay, our working tree is clean, but clearly we are out of date. So let's go ahead and pull in all the remote objects by calling git fetch. And as I noted, your working directory should remain unchanged. So line 10 will not change for us after I run git fetch. Let's try this. We want to pull from the origin. Fire. Okay. And if there had been a new branch, you would see the brackets with the new branch on it, and it would be listed alongside all the remote objects it fetched. And as expected, line 10 remains unchanged. So let's go ahead and run a git merge. And now we have the updates from the remote repository applied directly into our working tree. These two steps together is a git pull. So I will show you in the pro tool that I use how git pull seamlessly happens. Some people really appreciate the ability to do things at a slower pace because with code it's better to do it right once, that whole measure twice, cut once type of thing. You do you, as long as you know what you're doing. I think it's fine to go ahead and leverage tools that make things seamless. But if you do want to take it slow, I'm going to show you another important command. sometimes it's useful to take a peek at what the change is going to look like that is going to be coming in. I've pushed another change. So I'm going to ahead and do another git fetch so that we get the objects, and we can look at the delta by doing git diff, and then we basically are in the master branch for the origin. That's the remote branch in the origin. And this should show us the delta. I don't think this is practical because in the real world, you will not see a PR by a coworker that is one line of code, unless it's a requirements change from product management that wants to change the titles of some pages or something very simple like that. Merges are usually a lot bigger, and this is just not practical at all. Get used to working with tools that will let you load a bunch of information into your brain or your working space in a way that you can handle bigger merges, because that's what you will see out in the world. Let's go ahead and complete this. To get out of the git diff, you need to do Control Q. Or I think it was just Q. Yeah, it was just Q. Again, this is one of those things that is, you do you. I find it esoteric, kind of like using Vim. But in programming, everything is a trade-off. And you just have to weigh things and decide for yourself. So if it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't work for me. So now, next, we're going to go ahead onto installing SourceTree and doing everything that we have done with commands with SourceTree. Hopefully, you will find it just as easy as I do, and come along for the next video to see how that's going to work.